Sometimes maths just doesn't make sense. I want to understand it. Let's get together for Sunday best and to learn about faith with our friend Church Mouse Jess.
Oh, hey Jess.
Hey, what you doing?
I know. So the kids got these paddles, and I'm really competitive, and I want to beat them and get to 100, so I'm practicing. But every time I get close, it falls. Oh my gosh, but I'm so close. 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Yes!
That reminds me of the time I was bounced around like that.
Oh, what do you mean, Jess?
Well, I was really hungry, and I saw some Parmesan cheese sitting on a table at an Italian restaurant.
Oh boy, I think I know where this is going.
No one was looking, and I slowly crept onto a table where the customers had just paid their bill and left. Suddenly, an angry chef grabbed me by my tail and tossed me high into the air.
Oh, Jess, then what happened?
Well, lucky for me, he tossed me into the alley. There were all kinds of big striped awnings over windows, and I bounced from one awning to the other like a ping pong ball until I landed in the dumpster.
Oh, Jess, that's terrible.
Well, not really. Turns out there were lots of cheese and leftovers in the restaurant's trash, and I ate until I could hardly walk. I was so full.
You do love some cheese. You know, I was gonna make a joke, but it might be too cheesy. Hey, Jess, did I tell you that we have a new guest today?
No, who is it?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint. His brother's name is James. They were fishermen, and they were 2 of the 12 apostles who followed Jesus.
Well, are you gonna tell me his name?
Hello! I'm a little bit early, but oh well, it's my first day. After all, my friend Luke has been sharing most of the readings with you at Sunday Best, but now it is finally my turn.
Hey, John. Welcome to Sunday Best. We are so glad to have you here today. Hey, listen, I was just reading about you the other day and read about how you and your brother were really great fishermen.
Oh yes, we grew up taking our boats to the Sea of Galilee. We pulled so many giant nets of fish.
You know, I bet it was really amazing getting to travel around with Jesus and learn from him in person.
It truly was. I was there for the transfiguration of Jesus, where he glowed like the sun. And he even asked Paul and I to go to the city to get things ready for Passover supper that would go on to be known as the Last Supper.
Oh my gosh, wow. That is really special. You know, especially as we approach Easter and we're learning about how Jesus will rise from the dead.
Today is the 5th Sunday of Lent, which means that we'll be celebrating Easter soon. Here, please share with all the Catholic kids what I wrote nearly 2,000 years ago.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, St. John. Early one morning, Jesus came down to the temple, and suddenly people started coming down to see him. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman to him and made her stand in the middle of all the people. "Teacher, this woman was caught committing the sin of adultery. Now, according to the law of Moses, we should stone this woman. What do you say?" The Pharisees were testing Jesus to see what he would say. But he bent down and drew a line in the sand with his finger. "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her," Jesus said. They all began to walk away one by one, beginning with the elders. Then Jesus said to the woman, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She replied, "No one, sir." Jesus said, "Neither do I. Go, and from now on, do not sin anymore. Now, I bet you might have some questions about this reading, because I know I always did as a kid. Like, what was this woman doing that was so wrong?
Yeah, like, what was this whole adultery thing they talked about?
Ah, right. So adultery. Adultery means that she wasn't loyal to her family. And being loyal means that you stick to your promises and you stay devoted to your family even when times are really hard.
Oh, I see. Like, she broke a promise to her family.
Right. So these people had heard she had been disloyal to her family, and they wanted to throw stones at her to punish her so she would die for her sins. And they wanted Jesus to give them permission to do it.
But Jesus would never let that happen.
That's right. Jesus took his hand and he drew a line in the sand, and he told those people if any one of them has never sinned, they could come up to that line and throw the first stone. And guess what? None of them could walk up to that line because everybody has sinned.
Oh, I know I couldn't cross that line or throw a stone. I've definitely sinned before.
You know what? That's because everybody sins. And Jesus is telling them that it's not up to them to judge other people's sins, that there's not one that is worse than the other, that they're all equal and must be forgiven by God.
We've talked about not judging others before, but it is really hard to do sometimes.
You know, I couldn't agree more. And sometimes, even as an adult, it's really hard for me to think of it, my sins and what I do are equal to what someone else does because they seem a lot bigger. But it isn't up for me to judge. It's up to God. You know what? I think I have an idea to help us all understand this a little bit better. Okay, Jess, remember the paddle that I had earlier and I was bouncing, trying to get to 100 bounces? Well, let's pretend that it's someone else, okay? And this is a person who I know has sinned. Let's see, maybe they stole answers from someone on a math test.
You mean they cheated?
Yeah, because cheating is stealing because you're taking answers that don't belong to you. They belong to somebody else. So actually, it is a sin.
Oh, I see.
So let's say I think that I never sin. And so I'm going to throw a stone at that person. And I'm going to say, you cheated on a test, and that's worse than anything I did. Well, let's see what happens. Let's pretend this is the stone, okay? I'm going to throw it at this person. Ooh, you cheated. Oh! Oh gosh, did you see what happened? It came back to me just as hard.
I get it. When you judge someone else, you will be judged right back. Maybe even harder.
That's right. See, all sins are bad, not just the ones that I think are bad, but they're going to be judged equally by God.
So it's good to remember that we are sinners too before we throw the first stone or judge someone else.
That's exactly right. Let's try this again. So this time I'm going to throw a stone at someone who I think has done something wrong. I'm going to tell everyone in my whole class that there's a girl who's gotten in trouble for saying a bad word. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows because I want them to think less of her. So let's try this. Let's see. Hey, guys, did you hear that Rachel called somebody stupid today and she got called to the principal's office? She's in big trouble. Okay, let's see what happens when I throw the stone at Rachel, when I gossip about her. Here we go. Oh! You see, the ball came back to me to remind me that I'm a sinner too. I had no business spreading rumors about somebody and making them feel bad for something they've done because my sin is just as bad as hers. And I have no business placing judgment because that's up to Jesus to do, to forgive her for her mistakes. Hey, Jess, do you remember what season it is in church right now?
Of course! It's Lent! I love seeing all the purple in church because it reminds us of all that Jesus gives us in rising from the dead. Purple reminds us that we should be getting our hearts ready for his return.
That's right. Purple reminds us that we should be cleansing our heart of sin and asking for forgiveness. That way our hearts are prepared when he returns. So today, look what I have here. I have this little priest in his vestments, and here he is in his alb, and his chasuble, and his stole, And they're all in purple because that's where we are in the liturgical calendar.
Oh, and last week, Father Zepf wore a pink color called rose. He told me it means joy or hope and reminds us that Easter is coming soon.
That's right. Rose is a really important color because it's for the fourth Sunday of Lent, and it's for the Laetare Sunday, which means we're getting really close to Easter. So it's an incredibly important Sunday in the Catholic Church.
Is it because the Easter Bunny is going to be visiting soon?
No, this doesn't have anything to do with the Easter Bunny. It's actually when we hear the whole story about Jesus dying on the cross. It's actually the most important story that we hear all year.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot more important than a bunny and some jelly beans.
You know that's right. A lot of our Catholic kids this week are going to be visiting the Stations of the Cross in their church. So what they're going to be hearing is about how Jesus suffered so much because he was passionate about saving all of us so that we could go to heaven. And that's why they call it the Passion of Christ.
Hey, do you think we can visit the stations and tell the story?
You know what, Jess? I think that's a great idea. Boys and girls, I really hope that you spend the next week. You take a little time and reflect on your own sins and asking for forgiveness from God, because it's a really important time in our faith to clear our hearts and prepare for Jesus' return. So next week, we'll be visiting the Stations of the Cross so that you can hear the whole story that your parents are hearing in Mass. You might even get a piece of palm branch next week, too.
They bring a tree to church? What?
No, not a full tree, silly. It's just a little branch, and it symbolizes the... You know what? We're going to save that for next week, okay? But, oh, boys and girls, speaking of next week, we are going to begin building Easter gardens. So if you're interested in building a garden after Mass next week, here are the supplies that you're going to need. You will need a small planter, a base, some grass seed, sticks, and twine. I hope everybody had fun today. And remember,
when you throw the first stone, that stone will come back and point out your own sins.
That's right. All right, everybody, we'll see you next week. Bye.